Okay, so I have my mat board cut now, 14.5 by 12.5 inches. And here is my cut piece of mat. Now is when I come to the mat cutter and cut the actual mat itself. I need a pencil. There's nothing here that I touch. Everything has been prepared for me. It's all ready to go in terms of the mat cutter. So what I'm gonna do is kind of slide this cutter out of the way, and I'm gonna work on the back side. This is a creamy colored mat, so I'm gonna work on the white side. I lift this and slide my mat underneath until it hits where it says set scale here. Now I'm gonna use my pencil to draw a line along the edge of the mat cutter. This will serve as a guide as I cut to where I need to start and stop my mat cutter. So now I've done that on all four sides. And now I'm going to use the cutter itself. The cutter rides on these little tracks in the on the cutter, so you can see that there's this little groove here that sits, kind of reminds me of like a toy train or a toy car, and it latches in so that you cut straight. The cutter itself, the blade doesn't come out until you push here on the thumb dent, and then you can see the corner of the blade comes out the bottom of the cutter. That blade corner is right here where this shiny line is on the mat cutter. So what I'm going to do is put the cutter on that little track, and I'm going to slide the mat cutter so that I can see that the line matches up with the line. So you can see here my line, the pencil line that I just drew is now lined up with the cutter line on the mat cutter itself. Now I'm going to cut the mat. So I'm going to hold this side down so that my mat doesn't slide. I'm going to push my thumb into the cutter so that I engage the blade with the mat board, and I'm going to slide this forward until that line meets the line again on the top side. I'm going to pop the blade back up, slide it out of the way, and tip and turn my mat so that I cut all four sides. The mat cutter is a push tool, so it doesn't work pulling it backwards towards you. You're using the dull side of the blade. So you do always have to kind of reset it back. You see I push it up and out of the way as I'm cutting. I'm on my fourth side now. We're cutting at a 45-degree angle, and the hole on the back side of the mat is the smaller portion of the hole. The front side is bigger. So if I've done a good job cutting, you'll see that my mat board center just falls away. If it doesn't fall away, I won't be able to push it up towards myself because this piece is bigger than the hole because of that 45-degree angle cut. So you see I can't push this up towards me. I would have to turn it over and double check where I didn't get my mat cut all the way and just recut that side. So this piece, this center section, if it's large enough, I can go ahead and put it back in the cupboard for somebody else to use for a different piece of artwork. And now I'm ready to tape my art in. So I'm going to need a roll of tape, and I'm going to need my piece of artwork from before. So remember, because we're cutting a mat that's just a little bit smaller than our piece of paper, we need a way to put this in here and be able to see what we're covering up. Because sometimes it'll look better. Like I'm going to want to push this so that I can see the bottom edge of this flower rather than push it and cut that off and just see more of this background. So I need to be able to look at my painting while I put the mat on. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of tape, and I'm going to place that tape on the back side of the painting or drawing so that it's sticky side up. So now that it's sticky side up, I can use my mat as a viewfinder, and I can ensure that I am placing my mat exactly where I want it to be on my artwork. So I want to see this bottom edge of this flower. And now what I'm going to do is just slide, and I'm going to push this down. And now my artwork is stuck, and it's stuck in the right spot. And I can tip this over now, and I can do the rest of my taping. So I can tape the rest of the 4 sides now and ensure that my piece is fully stuck in this frame that I have cut for it. So those are kind of the tricks for getting your artwork in the mat and cutting the mat. And then there we go. Ta-da! Framed artwork.